Hi, I'm Marcus. I'm a full-time wheelchair user and today I'm reviewing the Ethos by Key Mobility. In setting up this chair to give it a fair trial, I put the same setup that I usually use day to day with the same cushion and the same backrest, just so that wasn't impacting my view of the handling. I really enjoyed this chair. I think this is due in large part to the suspension. It increased the manoeuvrability and the handling overall of the chair. It became really fluid and enabled me in different environments to really navigate and manage them in ways I hadn't necessarily been able to do without a power assist or a third wheel or some kind of aid within these environments, including country parks and off-roading and lakes. It really became a world in its own as the suspension, and I think a level of customization enabling me to get the most out of a chair that didn't necessarily fit me, as this is the trial chair from Key Mobility themselves. I really enjoyed the suspension in total. It lowered the amount of pain and the strain on my body. It gave an increase in being able to pop up larger curbs and then drop down the same level of large curbs without bouncing, and overall increasing the maneuverability and overall pain. Because my body wasn't taking the strain of the chair, the suspension was, I haven't been as much pain getting around day to day in my everyday life. Another big factor I really enjoyed about this chair is that on each chair, Key Mobility has a relax feature which enables you to put your seating position a little further back. I only think this is by like 5 degrees, and it really does help just resting and taking the strain off my spine, being able to move a bit more freely without having to make the effort of a big pressure shift or moving forward within my seat has really helped. On top of that, this relax feature has helped me get dressed. It's become much easier to put tops on. It's been really enjoyable. Yeah, overall, the handling, the maneuverability, the hours that I can spend in the chair without pain have been really enjoyable. I've had a really nice time in just going out in day to day and not worrying about what curbs I'll face, what obstacles I'll face. I'll just head to the shops without thinking much, which is not necessarily a freedom I've had in other chairs I've used. Conversely, this is a really heavy chair. I noticed it the second I got in. It became much more difficult to get up hills, to go further distances. I really noticed that I was fatigued, particularly with someone with minor hand implications, and I wouldn't have been able to manage without the rest of my upper body being quite strong. Another place I really noticed the chair's weight and overall shape as the suspension got in the way as well is on transfer in and out of the car. It became really heavy. It really took me a couple of weeks to even get used to transferring this chair in and out. It became really awkward and I didn't like it. The suspension got in the way. It became a hassle to get it part over me and through into the passenger seat. Once in the passenger seat, I also found it relatively difficult because you would have to strap the chair in, and so it wouldn't shift about or end up moving or becoming out of place in a way I wouldn't be able to transfer it out of the car. On getting out the car, I also found that the brakes this chair came with would stick and get in the way, and it became really frustrating to get the chair out, and I didn't want to go out as much because just the entire process of the extra added weight, the overall process of strapping it into the car, and then on top of it for the brakes to not function very well and just get in the way of popping the wheels back on, it became really hard. On top of that, I found transferring in this chair it was really difficult. This chair came with the performance feature, and I found it really nice in some aspects as it added to the manoeuvrability of the chair, and overall it became really manoeuvrable. But on getting out of the chair and out of the car, and transfers became really difficult as it would tip the chair and become really unstable. And as someone with impacted core, I need the chair to be stable, and this chair just didn't give me that, so it became really difficult to just get in and out of bed, in and out of the car, on and off of the toilet. It really did impact me in ways I didn't think it would, and I think is worth bearing in mind if this is a chair you're looking at. Overall, I really enjoyed this chair. It was really fun to use. I really enjoyed the suspension and the weight. This chair gives you a huge amount of customization, even down to the colours, and the colours that I've seen are really inviting and quite nice, even if it's not necessarily the colours I would put in a chair myself. It was just lovely to be able to pop curbs, to drop off curbs without thinking of my pain levels or what I was going to do to get out of this situation. I knew I would always be able to pop back up or get myself out of the situation because of the gift that the suspension gives you. Conversely, this chair is really heavy. You would have to think, if you had upper body weakness or even a progressive condition, how the heaviness of this chair would impact that. As well as if you're new to using a wheelchair, this chair has a lot of nuts and bolts because of the suspension, so maintenance may be a problem if you're not overly familiar with wheelchair maintenance. Of course, all of this has been my own opinion on the Ethos. For me, I would solidly give it an 8 out of 10. The manoeuvrability and the ability to just pop up anything and handle any obstacle has really stood out to me. Of course, I would be delighted to hear from anyone else who has tried an Ethos, and if they have any differing opinions to me, or if there's something I've left out. I would like to give a massive thank you to Wheelfreedom, who gave me this chair to try and the ability to trial the chair before purchasing. And that's